Assalamu alaikum everybody. Today we are going to learn about switches. A switch is a networking hardware that connects devices on a computer network to establish a LAN, a local area network. We have seen previously that hub is also a networking device that is used to set up LANs. So they are doing the same work. But what's the difference between the switch and a hub? Unlike hub, switch has a memory. In a computer network, every device is identified with the help of an IP address and a MAC address. It is going to store the MAC address in its table. It's called MAC address table. And is there any other difference between the hub and the switch? The very important difference is a hub has a first layer device while the switch is a layer 2 device for setting up the LAN. Layer 1 devices works on the physical layer. So here it is the visualization of the basic switch, which have many ports. Let's assume there is a sender computer and a receiver computer. Sender and receiver. So we are going to connect it by the suitable cable. As I said earlier, that every computer has a MAC address as well as an IP address on the network. So these are going to connect to a port present on the switch. Let's suppose one is connected to the first and the other one is to a different port, maybe 10 port. How they are going to recognize port 1 and port 19? By the MAC address. We have already seen that switch has a memory. Switch is going to maintain the MAC address table. What is going to be there in the MAC address table? Switch is going to store the MAC address table. The MAC address table is going to contain the MAC address of devices that are connected, AA for example, to the interface port 1, which is the sender, and BBBB for the port 19, which is going to be the receiver. You can see on the top right side the table is being shown. So port 1 with the MAC address and port 19 with the MAC address. Which is connected to port 19. And the real difference between the working of a hub and a switch is that the sender wants to send any data. This sender sends the data to the port 1. Now port 1 has received the data. If this is a hub, it would have broadcast all the information to all the remaining ports except this port, but since it is a switch, it knows the destination MAC address, which is connected to 19. So it forwards that package only to the interface, and the receiver computer now receives this package. Hub floods the entire network, where switch is not flooding the entire network. It sends the data to the exact destination. It doesn't mean that switch is not going to do the multicasting or broadcasting, but switch can do unicasting, multicasting and broadcasting, but based on the need it does. If it is a hub, it always does broadcasting. So this is a big difference. We will see how to create a local area network using the packet tracer, Cisco Packet Tracer CPT. So this is Cisco Packet Tracer. We'll start by placing a switch. 2960 is the one I'm using. 5 end devices, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. I'll be using the suitable cables to connect. So it has this many ports, 24 ports, and these are called fast Ethernet, and 2 are gigabit ports. So these ports are different from the port numbers. that is we refer in the transport layer. The port of or the port numbers or the interface number, which identifies each interface. In the layer 2, alright, we can see the 24 fast Ethernet ports and 2 gigabit ports. The number assigned for each port of these ports are 1 to 24 and 1 and 2 for the gigabit. We have in total 26 ports in this device, so we can connect 26. If we want, we can extend also. We can take a cable and connect the computer and the switch. For doing this, we have to go to the cable section and we do the select the required cable and use it to connect to the switch. We need a straight through cable because both are different devices, means it's a computer and the switch. So we'll connect them. Fast Ethernet port into the switch. Done same for all the end devices. They are ready because you can see there is a green dot at the interface at the computer ends, but this amber color on the switch side is now turning to green because it's now booting and it is ready for communication when you see all the greens. We have connected these pieces to the switch. Now we are required to assign the IP addresses to every computer. But the operation is based on the MAC addresses, not only the IP addresses. So we'll see how to do it. Click on it, go to desktop, IP configuration, and start putting the IP addresses. 10.10.10.1 subnetworks will appear automatically. Do the same for all the PCs. 10.10.10.2 10.10.10.3 10.10.10.4 and 10.10.10.5. All done. Connected to the switch. ipconfig command on the command prompt and will give you the IP address of the third computer because we selected the third computer with the IP address 10.10.10.3. So we can do the same for others. If it was a hub, it does broadcasting always, but now it's a switch, it's going to do the unicasting and only send the data to the destination computer. Two modes of operation to carry out the task, in the real-time mode and the simulation mode. This is the simulation mode. Let me close it. Let's transfer the back PDUs from PC1 source to PC4, the destination computer, and this has the IP address of 10.10.10.1 and 10.10.10.4. you can see on the window appearing. We'll place the text so we can identify easily the IP addresses of each computer in the network. Labeling is good. Now capture forward. It's only transferring or sending the data to the destination and the acknowledgement again to the original source. I'll show you how to see the MAC address table in the switch. Just click on the switch, go to CLI and type on the switch prompt enable en switch hash prompt show MAC address table. It will show you the MAC address table with the MAC addresses and the port to which they are connected. How to create a LAN using switch in CPT. It is always cool to know the difference between the hub and the switch. We'll see it now. A hub is a layer 1 device and switch is a layer 2 device which works on the data link layer. Hub works on the physical layer. Hub has no memory, while the switch has memory and it stores MAC address in the MAC address table. So we can say hub is not an intelligent device, while switch, as it is storing, it is an intelligent device. The drawback of hub is that it floods the network because of broadcasting. Switch has the advantage of doing the multicasting, unicasting and the broadcasting as the requirement. Hubs has high security risks, while the switches are low security risk devices. So hub are less efficient and switches are more efficient, and we know that hub always work in half duplex mode. It means hub can send and receive data as well, but not at the same time, while switch can do sending and receiving at the same time. And this is the comparison table between the hub and the switch. And that's it. We have learned so far is that we can use Cisco packet tracer using switch, simulate LAN switch using switch, and understand the difference between the switch and the hub. Thank you.